Hello YouTube! This is Dumble Orange 927 here, and here with me guys I have Dusk Under 9, and today we are presenting our first versus video.
Yep guys, this is our first versus video. Hopefully we plan to do a little bit more of them, but this is our first one.
So, first off we have our very first matchup, so I hope you enjoy it. We have Qui-Gon Jinn versus Kylo Ren.
Yeah guys, this is actually a pretty good matchup. It might look a bit stupid, but it is a very good matchup, guys.
So, and also to mention, before we begin, I guess, just know, at least through mine, but I think Dustin also has this mentality, I am perfectly willing to use canon characters for versus matchups, despite some of my criticism. But my only big complaint with the new canon is just how much it fails to coexist with the original EU. But despite that, I am still willing to do matchups with them.
Yeah,
so,
I am too.
So with that out of the way, let's get started. History. Qui-Gon Jinn, formerly the apprentice of Dooku, became known as a great Jedi warrior and prominently one of the most talented lightsaber duelists and force wielders of his time. He was also the master of Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was involved in the Naboo crisis. However, during that event, Qui-Gon unfortunately was killed by Darth Maul. Kylo Ren, formerly Ben Solo, was the son of Han and Leia, was the nephew of Luke Skywalker, and attended his Jedi Academy. However, Kylo later fell to the dark side after his fascination with his grandfather, Darth Vader. He joined with the First Order and the Knights of Ren, basically responsible for slaughtering all of the Jedi Order. He engaged Rey and Finn, easily bested Finn, however was later defeated by Rey. After this event, Snoke ordered Hux to take Kylo Ren in order to complete his training. First, we will compare them physically through physical ability and handicap.
So, Qui-Gon Jinn is, well, his age hasn't necessarily been known, but he's more than likely in his upper 60s. He has gray hair, and he's not very strong with his physical attributes. He mostly relies on force abilities to keep him in the game. He's definitely lacking in the physical attributes.
Now, despite his age, though, he is in very good shape for a man of his years. However, unfortunately, Qui-Gon is past his prime.
Yes, so Qui-Gon is not necessarily the best physical combatant, but he is a very good physical condition for his age.
Kylo Ren. Okay, I will get started on him. He is a physical tank. He managed to withstand a bowcaster shot, be stabbed in the arm and leg, and a slice through his face and manage consciousness.
Yeah, Kylo Ren can take a lot. He got sliced up by Rey, and he can take a lot of pain. You can definitely tell that. Yeah, Kylo Ren wins in this one.
So out of these two, Kylo Ren is clearly a superior physical combatant. He's better strength, better endurance, and not only that, but unlike Qui-Gon, Kylo Ren is around his physical prime.
Yes.
Next, lightsaber combat. Qui-Gon Jinn. He was a Ataru specialist, which, in case if you don't know what Ataru is, it is the fourth form of lightsaber combat that basically requires the use of speed and agility.
Yes. Qui-Gon did master, or he particularly tried in Ataru, which Qui-Gon Jinn, in my opinion, had he wasn't the best duelist out there, but he had his main attribute, in my opinion, was lightsaber combat, which is kind of unusual for a Jedi Counselor. And I really did think that he could put up a fight against a good amount of Jedis in the Council. During his later years, he did wear down a bit, and that sort of resulted in his death to Darth Maul, as you guys see in this picture.
But what's impressive about it is that he managed to compensate for Ataru's one weakness, which is tiring out fast. Qui-Gon managed to use Ataru non-stop for 15 minutes.
Yeah, Qui-Gon could really solve the one problem that Ataru had, which was, getting tired easily. So, yeah.
So he is a very skillful combatant. Kylo Ren. Now, Kylo is very interesting to talk about as a lightsaber duelist. He has both great attributes, but also obvious shortcomings. Probably the things that is great about Kylo Ren, well, he's strong. Really strong. With his lightsaber attacks. So far, his style has not been confirmed in any source, but knowing us seeing The Force Awakens multiple times, we can take an educated guess.
So, okay. Now, people can blame this on many things. People could say, oh, it wasn't a scripted scene, but we're going by the Star Wars universe here, and when you look at it, there's either two ways you can comprehend the situation. Either he was using Juyo, and that was his main tactic, or he was just really didn't give a crap and mindlessly was swinging his lightsaber.
Like used a free-for-all tactic.
Yeah, freestyling it, which I personally don't really think he really did very well at. Like, I can tell he just tried to pick up a lightsaber and swing it at things. He wasn't trying to tactically overwhelm or even defeat his opponents in any way. That's why he got bested by Rey, who picked up a lightsaber a few seconds ago.
Granted, he was injured already, but still.
Yeah, but still, for someone that was, already at least had some training against, Rey, which really had nothing to speak of at all. Granted, she did have Force within her family, apparently, which hasn't been confirmed, but you really can't blame that,
And not only that, but the factor of Kylo Ren now, before fanboys come and say, oh, he can block blaster fire, yes, that is a sign that he does know Xi'an a little bit. But the fact that he does not apply this at all in single combat shows that he is solely using that for blast deflection, which in a matchup like this doesn't matter. So in this, out of these two combatants, both are very interesting in their own sense and both very unique amongst their techniques, but in the end, Qui-Gon Jinn is the superior duelist. The reasons are actually kind of obvious. Qui-Gon's more refined, he's better trained, and he actually has some experience on his hands.
Yeah, so Qui-Gon gets the edge in this category.
Force abilities.
Now, Force abilities, we are going to start out with Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn is one of those Jedi counselors Jedi that don't really have many Force abilities, to be honest. He can levitate certain objects, he can Force push certain things, but there's nothing really, I guess, notable to say about it.
The problem with Qui-Gon as a Force wielder is he's a lot like Yoda in the sense that he's all about the spirit intact. He's always about trying to connect with the living Force. And, on that own mind, that is pretty impressive, since he was able to become a Force spirit. But we're not talking about the living Force knowledge. We're talking about combat effectiveness.
Yeah, so, he does have a lot as, a Force spirit and stuff, but when you're talking about what he can actually do in combat, I don't really think it's that much, He's mainly going to be relying on, his lightsaber duelist. It's not like he's going to try to Force push Kylo Ren, or because his force pushes aren't even that strong. It's not like he can take out armies like Luke Skywalker, or he can freaking pick up someone and throw them across a room like Darth Vader. No, he can
probably force push someone.
Yeah, barely. So I doubt it'll really affect anything in actual battle.
Now, Kylo Ren he has a very natural talent with the Force, but he is still, like lightsaber combat, unrefined. The fact with Kylo Ren is, he is exceptionally powerful. He can force stun people, he can freeze blaster bolts in the air. This guy can do a lot. But he doesn't know how to do everything yet. He's, like I said, unrefined. He is in that position where Kylo can do certain things, but he can't really do everything. And not only that, but you have to consider what he can do against other Force wielders.
And, the thing is, you can kind of tell that, yes, the things he can do are impressive, but they don't really live up to everything. He has a wide variety of things for someone that has not much training, but what he can do isn't that refined. Think about it. When he was trying to get information out of Rey about where Luke was, he was trying to, do that thing where he would, and then Rey just, 5 seconds later, read his mind and realized he was all that crap about Darth Vader, and it was just that easy to get past it. So, first of all, even then, I don't really think it would
first off, the mind tactics would not work.
Yeah, mind tactics would not work.
And as for the Force pushes and stuns, I think all the stuns would stagger Qui-Gon. They wouldn't be able to outright freeze him.
Yeah, it's not like he could just freeze Qui-Gon in place. Maybe for a second or two, but it wouldn't really have too much of an effect on the actual battle. But considering that he at least has the variety, he still is probably going to get the edge in this argument.
Overall, Kylo is a Force wielder that's really good. But, like I said, he has his very disadvantages. And to be honest, yes, Kylo Ren will get the edge in this, but this edge is very slight, and I doubt the Force abilities will really come into play.
Yeah, if they come into play, it'll be very little.
Equipment. Qui-Gon Jinn wielded a standard lightsaber with an emitter and was very basic of his Jedi Order. Nothing really advanced about it. He had a green Adagan crystal. So yeah, that was around it on his part. Kylo Ren wielded a ancient design of a cross-guard lightsaber, which really, to be honest, at least according to what we know of, is a very rare weapon.
Yeah, Kylo Ren's lightsaber is really the first I've seen of its kind, besides in comics, expanded universe of various sorts. But Kylo Ren's lightsaber is very ancient, and it's really something to be made of. Now, I will say Kylo Ren's lightsaber provides a lot of strengths, but I'm going to go over its weaknesses first. So, really the only weakness I would say this lightsaber has is just, two. One of them is minor, and the other one's kind of big. It's just heavy. It's going to be a heavier blade to swing around. That's more than likely why all Kylo Ren did was Zuyo, because it's going to be hard to actually do really tactical things with such a heavy blade.
But like I said, this shortcoming can be compensated for if you practice strength-oriented.
Yeah. And the other small weakness is you have to be aware of where the side blades are just not to cut yourself. But that can
But the benefits are, first off, the crossguard, the side blades can prevent the enemy from slicing your blade in half or chopping your hands off. Yeah. Secondly, you can twist them in a saber lock to get the edge in a saber lock. And thirdly, thanks to the heavier blade design, if you attack with a strength-oriented style, you're gonna be really
yeah.
So yeah, Kylo Ren, we don't know for certain, but as a guess, we assume he has a red synthetic crystal as the focusing lens. However, a fun fact is, the crystal is actually cracked, which is why he has such an unstable kind of look to it.
Oh, is that why sometimes it like shatters a bit? Like
Yeah. So, in the end, Kylo Ren gets the edge in armament just because his crossguard saber provides him more options in combat and allows him more opportunities. Now, the verdict.
So guys, if you count up each verdict, actually Kylo Ren gets more of the edges. But
this is the one interesting video where it is one of those combatants that gets the edge in almost every individual category, but kind of comes up short when you create the overall package.
now I will give you two reasons for this. Yes, Kylo Ren does get a verdict and more of them, but the thing is, the verdicts really either they're very slight or they really just don't make a difference in the battle. Like, you know, his equipment, it's not going to make much of a difference in the battle. His force abilities, as I said, the force abilities aren't really going to be used that much. Lightsaber abilities is what it's going to come down to, and, you know, Qui-Gon wins in that category.
In this sense, Qui-Gon would win. Now, let us explain why. Kylo Ren, he's very skillful in the sense that he can practice a lot, he uses everything he does well, but the problem is he's just unrefined. He doesn't know exactly yet what he's doing with everything.
Now, I'm sure by the end of episode, like, 8 or 9, this verdict will probably change, but as of Star Wars The Force Awakens episode 7, I would say that Qui-Gon's probably better.
Like, in the end, it comes down to who's the greater swordmaster. And in that case, Qui-Gon, for once, actually is superior.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, you know, frickin' Kylo Ren got defeated by Rey, so, like, it's just something that I have to compare it to, and Qui-Gon, as much as he's not the best Jedi, I do think that he's one that could defeat Kylo Ren.
In terms of this fight, I actually think the engagement of this fight would play pretty similar to Kylo's engagement with Rey. The only difference would be Kylo would not be injured this time around.
Yeah, Kylo would not be injured this time around, but I think that what would end up happening is Kylo Ren's Juyo mixed with Qui-Gon's Ataru and fast movements would probably result in a chess match in the first while. But after a while of Kylo Ren just Juyo, Qui-Gon would sort of catch on and use tactics to defeat Kylo Ren.
Now, even when at times where both of them realize they're having difficulty penetrating each other, force abilities will come into play, but the problem is both of them will realize none of their force abilities can really do much at each other, because in terms of combative force abilities, they're almost equal to each other.
Really, the only thing they can do to each other is a force push, because, you know, Kylo's not going to be able to do, like, a force stun or blaster play will not come into effect, so there's not much that they can really get over the top of each other. So really, it comes down to the lightsaber abilities, and I think Qui-Gon has a bit more tactics going into it than just swinging around his blade. That's why I give it to Qui-Gon.
So in the end, guys, we do believe Qui-Gon is the winner. Now, we are not being disrespectful for Kylo Ren. I just think Kylo so far is just a character that needs to grow and evolve before we, you know, take him into account.
And guys, we're not saying that Qui-Gon's the better character. I'm just saying that in an actual duel, I'd probably say that Qui-Gon would win.
And to be honest, what people need to consider is this verdict is not by any means a sure thing. As, you know, it's entirely possible that Kylo Ren could overwhelm Qui-Gon early on and seize the advantage. However, it's just when we put that, it's not the most likely outcome.
Just from what we've seen, we have to give the most likely outcome. We're not saying that this is, you know, going to happen or even will, because we obviously will never be able to find out. But from what we've seen, we would guess that this would be the final verdict.
So how this fight would play out, mostly, like, I believe the first half would play out much like Qui-Gon's first half of the fight with Darth Maul. And then the second half would lead with Kylo's fight with Rey when Rey, connects with the Force and all that.
Yeah.
So that's really how the fight would go, in my opinion. So, in the end, guys, Qui-Gon's the winner. And, this is just our opinion. Feel free to chime in. Tell us what you guys think. But please, keep things civil. Do not rage. Please.
Yeah, guys, so that's gonna wrap up this first versus video. It's been a lot of fun, it's been worth it. And we're gonna do more of these.
So, yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed. This is Dumber Orange 927.
And Dusk Thunder 9.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace out.